And it's, we can't hear Wheels on the Bus over and over again.
No, we can't. But we
My
can hear.
ears start bleeding.
I can hear little blue car, little blue car. I swear, if I were at a concert, I'd be like, play Little Blue Car, encore.
Welcome to the full mom tea. You know it's hard out here being moms. We always seem to get the job done. What? Moms, they run the world. Moms, they run the world.
Jackie. Hi, Vanya. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Mom Tea.
Yeah, I know.
That intro song is.
Thank you.
It is
you.
good.
I worked very hard.
You worked hard on it.
I did. I mean, I worked with my friend who's a music producer, but I didn't like. You know what? You
did good. You're a musical person. I'm a musical person, and that's why our show today is going to be about.
Oh my God, music!
And then I wore a music shirt for our OG Miss Moira, who you'll meet in a minute, and then
I wore a shirt, Guns N' Roses.
Such nerds.
And you can kind of see I have cleavage.
Cool. That's rock star-ish.
I think it's like I feel like I'm a lady.
Yeah.
I am a lady still.
You're rock star lady, not Gwen Stefani, because she's went off the deep end.
Did she? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't listen to anything anymore. But I love the Guns N' Roses situation, and it feels right. And I got this at the thrift store, which I love. The thrift store. Wait, can I show? When Miss Moira comes, I want to show her too. But I also, because I wanted to dress up for her. Oh, this is also a guitar pick necklace. So in theme. And I do play the guitar. And then
you're very musical. You play instruments.
I am I was looking at my yearbook I was trying to find the 6th grade yearbook because that's when I was in orchestra and I was hardcore orchestra.
Yeah.
Violin, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yeah, I play, but not frequently. So the problem is every time I get to an instrument again, I'm like, how do I play this ukulele again? And I need 15 minutes and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this song kind of. But anyways,
you need 15 minutes.
So here's the other shirt that I was going to wear.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if you can see this.
What?
This is a real
Wynonna.
You don't know who Wynonna Judd is? It's fine. I'm not mad at you. But
it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Can you give me a song?
Love will build a bridge, and she's with her mom and her sister. I actually don't know. Didn't she sing that one? Sorry, I'm like, didn't she sing that one? Anyways, I love her so much. But how cool is this shirt? She's got a wiener dog. And a motorcycle.
God, I didn't even see him there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I decided this was more like rock star.
Very cool. You look great. Got the cleave. You got the rugged and the sexy. Yeah, that is rock star.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mine, I just look like a 12-year-old boy. But
I love it.
This is my Lady Gaga shirt, which I told you before I saw her live. I saw her Mayhem concert, and it's kind of my entire personality now. Yeah.
How was your week?
It was a little batty. Okay. Listen, I found a bat. I found a bat outside our back porch, and I lied. My husband found it. I want to take credit for it, but my husband found it. And we were just outside playing, and he said, "Is that a bat?" And I looked. I thought it was just a couple of leaves put together. I didn't realize they could be so small.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're small little brown bats. And so I looked, and it looked like it was kerplunk. I mean, dead. I thought maybe it got drunk and ran into the wall and fell or something. But I guess they can be alive, but I'm learning a lot about bats. When they're grounded, that's not a great sign. Grounded during the day, that can be a little dodgy.
Rabies?
A little rabiesy.
Uh-oh.
So or there's this other disease called white nose, and the nose gets fuzzy or something. So I was looking at its nose. Anyway, I thought it was dead, and Nick was left. Took the kids and the dog. He was nowhere to be found.
Was he scared, or he was just he didn't care?
He was freaked out. He was freaked out. But neither one of us are good with bugs or good with things,
Okay.
Unfortunately. And
somebody needs to be.
Somebody needs to be.
Maybe one of the kids will eventually.
Yeah, and he feels bad because it's traditionally he's the male role. He's supposed to be scooping it up, but that's not always. And in my family, my dad was always the one that was if he saw a roach or something, he'd be like, "Joy, Joyce. That's my mom's name. So she would come in and like clean it up. So, and he's just this giant like old school Italian man. So just imagine him scared. So anyway, but we all love animals, and I love animals, and I had never seen a bat so close, and so I was like, whoa, this is so cool. But of course I need to keep my distance. And then I put like a little, so then I got a pole, which kind of is stupid, I'm realizing, but I was far away. And I tapped it because I wanted to know if it was alive or not. And its wings went that. And I was like, oh, it's alive. And then the girls were, of course, watching from inside the house, and they fell in love with it. They called it Batty. Gianna was writing it a note, and I was like, oh my God, this thing is
I'm going to have to kill this in front of my kids.
I know. Or like, and they're really cute when you look close.
No, they really are cute, yeah.
And the big ears and their little snouts, and it's fuzzy. Yeah. But it was alive, so I was like, oh my gosh. And then I'm thinking I want to save it, but then I'm like, no, I can't. And then I'm like, how common is rabies really? Like, wouldn't it be like if it had rabies? Like, it was just calmly there. I told myself it was hibernating and it was fine. I put a little Tupperware over it, which I was proud of myself.
I would have done that.
Okay, yeah. And I was like, I didn't get too close, but I got close enough to where something bad could have happened.
Yeah.
I had to put it, I had to cover it. Yeah. And then I was like calling these like bat sanctuaries, and everybody was like, be careful with that thing. And then they were like, call animal control.
Yeah.
I texted neighbors. I texted Moira, who you'll meet, because she's a big animal lover. And I was like, what do I do with this bat? Like, I think it's alive and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, then I did call animal control after checking on it. I let it be for the night. So I took the Tupperware off and let it be
did
for
you suffocate it?
No, I know. But it was a light Tupperware. I think a little bit of air could have gotten it. But I let it, I was like, maybe it'll just fly off and it'll be fine. But it, sadly, it didn't fly off. And then I had to call animal control, and they were like, so serious about it. Like, they were like, we'll be there as soon as possible. We take this very seriously. And I was like, whoa. And they came, and this lady came and took the bat, and they were like, we're going to test it for rabies.
Oh my God.
Did your children did anybody get into it? Did Donnie, my
Jackie.
dog? And I was like, I don't think so. But then, of course, I'm thinking, like, shit, how long has it been there? Yeah. And, like, did he, like, go and, like, play with it? Like, but I don't think he did, because when we were all out there, I don't even think he saw it. Okay. He didn't even seem interested. Mostly when he's outside, we're outside with him, because he's so clingy. He can't be out there for very long without us. So, and then he didn't, like, go right directly to it. So I don't think he did. But anyway, now we have to get him a rabies booster just in case. And spoiler alert, they called me, a vet called me yesterday. They were like, by the way, we did test the bat and it is positive for rabies.
Shut the
and we're gonna need to let people know in your like neighborhood and things like that.
Because
like,
probably not just one, right?
They were like, this unfortunately does happen like a lot around your area.
Ew.
And I was like, and then they were like, don't worry, we're not going to say whose house it was in the neighborhood. We're just going to say.
We're like, they already know because I've texted everybody in the neighborhood.
I'm like, I don't think it's like an indication of my home or cleanliness. I don't think I didn't have like bat food out for it, and there's not bat shit everywhere. So I don't know. But it was just a wild little ride. And then he did pass.
Oh,
But he had the bees, the rabies.
Yeah. Does it kill them, rabies? Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. But that's my bat story.
Well,
that was my week.
It's been a crazy week, but one thing, I got a call from the school, not call, but like I got a note from the teacher because my son, I'm not sure who taught him, probably my daughter. So my 8-year-old, he learned Pig Latin. And, I remember, like, learning that as a kid and just, like, loving it and, like, thinking I'm talking to people and no one can understand what I'm saying. Did you ever do Pig Latin as a kid?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So it's
grew
like
up in Florida.
Yeah, well, I'll teach you later so we can have a secret language. But, so he's been doing it, and then he refused to write his name properly, like, on his sheets. Like, how they all write they write their name and their student number. He's in 2nd grade. Okay. So he wrote Alvin K, which is Pig Latin for Calvin. Oh. And so I had to be like, buddy, you gotta at least, or maybe write both, like see if she'll do it, but you can't just be like, no, I'm not doing it. Like completely refusing.
Refusing to write his name correctly.
Also, not the first, I got 2 calls from the teacher. The second was, he has like his oral fixations back. Like last year he was eating crayons. Yeah, it was great. Oh. So this year I don't know what he was eating, but I got him some chew toys. Because you could do that. Yeah, they're around a necklace, and he just chews on it during the day.
Oh.
He's adorable. I mean, he's so cute.
He is adorable.
It's hard for me to be like, that's so gross, buddy. And his whole shirt was like wet. Yeah, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, they go through stuff.
Yeah.
He's still young.
Yeah.
You know, he probably won't.
Actually, the teacher was really sweet about it.
Oh,
She's
good.
like, she suggested it'd be okay if he chewed gum, which I thought was amazing. He would love that. But I'm like, let's try a chew toy first. Because I had bought a bunch of them from last year. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my week, pretty much.
So we had chewy kids. We had bats. But now we're going to talk about music. And we have Miss Moira on. She is from Sing Sign Play, which is an amazing organization, business associated with Music Together worldwide. And she'll tell you more about it. But basically, it's a magical place for families to go and learn to sing and dance together, learn sign language, and move. So without further ado, Miss Moira.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, it's so nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Yes.
That's the disadvantage of being around forever. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody knows who I am. Whenever I go out, my son, he hates going anywhere with me because everybody's like, Miss Moira, Miss Moira.
Yeah.
Even our producer, by the way, today was like, I know Miss Moira.
Yeah.
It was very exciting.
He goes, are you having the Miss Moira on?
Yeah.
My son went to her. So, local celeb.
Yeah.
Survived the pandemic.
If you're under the age of 5.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
Or you have someone.
Or a parent of, yeah. But I mean, okay, and I've been teaching. Miss Moira has been so generous enough to let me kind of come on board, and I got certified under Music Together, which is primarily like what you teach, but you also teach sign language and things like that. But I want to shout out to Sing Sign Play in Valencia, and I want to learn a little bit about like how you came to be, like what drew you to basically teaching music classes to families.
Well, I came from a musical family, so none of them were involved in music as a profession, but I have 11 brothers and sisters.
Oh my
All
God.
from the same 2 parents.
Wow.
So there
Same
was
litter.
6 boys, 6 girls. Oh my God. And we always put on our own musical productions. We had plays, we had bands. We were always involved in something musical. And my dad, who is an anesthesiologist, he was always in theater and musicals and things like that. So it was always in my background, but it wasn't necessarily what I was going to be. So we all kind of gravitated towards sciences, a lot of us, and medicine, and that was initially my first path. So I was biochem, and I was studying, biology and chemistry, and in college, but on the side, I was always like in a choir, or I was doing a show, or I was my passion was always there, but I was really good at science and math. So I thought, this is the path, right? Okay, this is where you make the money. This is where this is where you should go, because this is where your strengths are. Music was hard. Like, music was the one thing. I have a very photographic memory, so I would go to school. I was a terrible student, honestly. I would get really good grades, but I would never go to school. So I got in trouble all the time for never being at school, because I was like, read the syllabus, go when the test is, and take the test. So So I always thought, that's where I need to do, but it was easy for me. It wasn't like rewarding. But music, on the other hand, was really rewarding for someone like me, because I couldn't be good at it unless I actually practiced. Yeah. It was hard. It was hard. You
can't fake it.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So I was always drawn to it because it was challenging for me. So I picked up a few different instruments, and I was always a singer. And then I was graduating from college as a biochem major, and I did a 180. And I told my parents, I'm not going to go to med school. I'm actually going to study music. And my dad was, I think my dad was a little sad.
Yeah.
He's an anesthesiologist, and you know, we have a lot of medical professionals, nurse practitioners, and physician's assistants, and respiratory therapy. You know, lots of medical professionals. But the first time he came to see me in an opera, he came up to me and he says, "You made the right choice."
Oh my God.
So that made me feel really good because he was. So that's kind of how I came to music, and I was always intending to be a professional musician, and that was my path. And I was in the opera department at CSUN, and I had a really amazing teacher who had taught, you know, Met Stars, and I was singing lots of opera and doing opera all around, and other musical things. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, and I started, like, I had to take some extra classes at CSUN, and I thought, oh, you know, sign language sounds interesting, because I had actually learned sign language because I knew somebody who was deaf, and I was interested in sign language. So I was like, oh, I'll take sign language. That'll be easy A, because I knew a lot of sign language already. So I went and I saw this study about children in sign language. So this is back in 1999, so it was brand new. And I thought, you know what, I'm definitely going to teach my daughter sign language. So that's kind of how the sign came in. And I started doing a lot of research with different companies. And then a friend of mine got pregnant. And I was doing my singing career. I was doing all kinds of performances all over the place. And she said, you know what, I'm really sick, and I can't teach my music classes anymore. Can you come and teach my music classes for me? And, you know, coming from a family of 12 kids, I was around kids all the time. So I loved kids. I loved playing with kids. Everybody always asked me, I've even had children ask me before, are you a child person or adult person? because it's kind of hard to tell, you know. I'm short and I don't act like an adult. So it's kind of a natural thing. I've meant it to be kind of just, I was going to help her out while she was pregnant. And then I was going to go on my merry way, because I never intended that path for myself. But as soon as I started doing it, as much as I tried to fight it, I knew that was kind of my calling. Like, that was what I was meant to do. I saw the power of music with these kids, and then eventually bringing in sign language and teaching sign classes to children as well. I saw what a huge difference it made in a lot of their lives, especially children who had trouble with speech delays and things like that. They were able to speak early on. So the first music company I worked for was not Music Together. So this music company mostly did separated the kids by ages. So they had narrower age ranges. And they said, there's this other company, Music Together, who's really successful. They started right about the same time, both companies. And they said, we want to see what this mixed age music thing is about. So I said, okay, I'll go. And they said, go take the training. And I, you know, me being, you know, Jackie, I can't like tell them, I'm just here to learn. I had to tell them right off the bat, I'm from this other music company, and I'm just checking out what this mixed ages thing is, because we're developing kind of a mixed ages. And they were so generous about it. They were real free about, so anyway, so I went through the training, and I fell in love with Music Together, because the music is so different from any other children's music program. I mean, they use a lot of different tonalities. They use a lot of multicultural stuff. It's really rich in terms of music diversity, rhythm, and tonality. So I fell in love with it, and I went back to the other company, and I said, well, in order for you to be real successful at a mixed age environment, you need to be a little bit more diverse musically, because when you have a narrow age range, you can be more developmentally focused as opposed to music focused, right? So we're focusing on developmental skills, and we're using music to help teach that. And that's kind of where their focus was. And I said, if you're going to do mixed stages, you can't really have that focus because you have all age ranges in that class. So this is where you got to really focus in on the music skills. So we need to have different types of music. We need to have lots of tonalities, lots of different rhythms. And they didn't want to record a lot of new music because it's very expensive. So I actually said goodbye to the other company and started working for music together. So that's kind of how I came about it. And then the sign language I incorporated myself. So that part of my program is not music together. It's very much sing, sign, and play. And I have a whole line of signing programs. It starts from the little ones. I started with the signing programs for the really little ones, learning how to communicate before they could speak. And then once those kids got a little older, all the moms said, so what's next?
Right.
So I had to create a program that was for using signs to help clarify speech. And then they got a little older and they said, what's next? And I said, well, let's use sign to help learn the ABCs. And then they got a little older, and then we created a signing program to help them actually learn how to put those sounds together and read. So we have a whole line of signing classes that I developed that help with not only early communication but literacy.
That is amazing. I love sign language. Yeah, I because every time.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I need to move Moira's microphone a little bit closer. So,
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Is that okay?
You're welcome.
All right, we're still recording.
Yeah, because so I watched did you guys watch the Bad Bunny with the sign language person who? So it's
Yes.
amazing. Anytime there's a sign language interpreter or translator, I guess, I love it because I'm a theater person, and it's just so theatrical too, and it's like it just makes me really happy. And when my kids were little, so I have a 12 and an 8-year-old, and we all did the. Like, what is it? More. I want more. No, this is more. Like, I don't know. They still, but like the kids, it's just so like tactile, putting communication together with your movement. It makes me really happy. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love it. And I love music so much.
That's a special skill, actually. I mean, it's just like singing. So everybody can sing. Some people sing better than other people. Sign language is the same way because there is interpretation to what signs you use and how you use them. So some people have beautiful signing voices. I'm not one of them. I can communicate, but I have not like really trained in. But that's a skill that you train. You train to be a interpreter of music, which is a different skill than just interpreting speech. So that's why it looks beautiful.
Oh my God, it is.
They have a beautiful signing voice, just like some people have beautiful singing voices.
Signing voice, not like you're also singing it or saying
it.
But
it's
literally
the way that you move your hands and the choices that you make
in
your sign language that make your voice sound more beautiful than another signer who's not really trained or talented at that skill. So.
Awesome. And then didn't you were in a band too?
Oh yeah, my early years.
Come on.
Yeah, everybody thinks of Little Miss Moira singing music, and
I
was a little wild. Like I said, we were talking earlier before you guys started recording that I am from the feral generation.
I love it. Yeah.
Gen X, we were left on our own devices, and we got into all kinds of trouble. And I was in all kinds of bands. I was following bands. I was in high school. Gosh, maybe I shouldn't tell this to everybody.
Tell it.
I would tell my parents that I was going to my friend Sheila's who had like a little a place by the beach. She had like a little trailer by the beach. And I would say, oh, we're going to Sheila's for the summer, right?
Amazing.
And I would tour with a band.
Okay, what was your genre? What kind of music did you play?
Well, that band I was just following around. Right? I wasn't playing anything. We played, you know what? It was the 80s, I guess you would say it was punk, right?
Okay.
But it wasn't like your Orange County punk.
Right.
It was more of the CBGB
Yes.
kind of punk. But I did that, and I did lots of different things musically, and I did musical theater.
Yeah.
And
did you play in the band too, or were you mostly the lead vocalist?
I sometimes play rhythm guitar in the band, and you know, I'm a decent guitar player, but I'm not a lead guitar player.
Same.
I'm a pianist.
Okay.
I'm a pianist, and my degree in music is actually vocal. I have a degree, vocal performance. So, you know, all of us musicians, we pick up little different things, but we usually have one main focus. And voice was mine, but I happened to be, you know, the joke was always that singers are not musicians. So I made it a point to be a musician too, because I, you know, there were several times doing like operas getting yelled at by conductors, "You're too rubato." So I had to learn how to be a rhythmic person. And honestly, my years of teaching, especially music together, helped me a lot with rhythmic stuff. So I ended up going into doing a lot of study in rhythm and drumming, and became a drum circle facilitator.
Oh my God. I love you so much.
I know. I knew
I
you
used
would.
to do, and I need to do them again someday, but it's fun, you know, just that was kind of my little, I always try to stay, I think that's what keeps me young. Everybody say, "You look so young."
She does.
58 years old, so.
58. Doesn't dye her hair.
Oh my God. Well, that's just a
natural.
gift. You have a gift.
Unbelievable.
I do have the grays, but they haven't all come in.
Can't say it. I have more than you do, and I'm 21.
But I think just, you know, always stay.
Not listening to her. I'm like,
Nobody should be listening to me.
I was waiting for Anyway.
But I think, like,
keeps
being
you young.
educated all the time, you know, I like to try out new things. And I know one of the reasons why I loved Jackie and I wanted her to come teach for me is she reminds me of myself like 30 years ago.
Yeah, a less talented version. Yeah. Can't play many instruments, but try. I'll try on the
Your
ukulele.
talents
You're
are
a musical
elsewhere.
person. You're
So,
theater.
I am.
You're a musical theater person.
I am. But I've had so much fun, and I am learning a lot too, which it makes sense that you learned. Like I'm like, okay, I really want to learn more about like tonalities and more about rhythm, and I've always been drawn to music, and for me, I think it's also very like it's an emotional regulation tool for me. I don't think I really appreciated how much it was a part of my life and calmed me until I didn't have it for a while. Because in, you know, high school and college and even in New York, I was around music. I was either singing it or dancing to it, or, you know, I was in the arts. And then there was a period where I was working, and it was very much like corporate and office. And I started getting really, really down. And then I found when I had a baby that COVID hit, so it like a month after I gave birth, so that was crazy. And we looked for things to do that, you know, would be safe, and we found music together. And our shout out to Miss Tracy in Jupiter, Florida, because she's got a great program there. And we did outdoor classes, you know, and they were very careful about COVID and everything.
We did those too.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that again.
And I know that was crazy time, but it honestly helped me so much with my postpartum depression and anxiety. It gave me something to look forward to. It got me out of my head and back into my body. The you know, singing with other people, no matter how you sound, just like music together, the point of it is that it literally makes you feel better. It releases like dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin, so all these neurochemicals that actually make you feel better. So bringing it back to science, there really is a science behind it, which I think is so cool. And it really changed kind of like my life. And then and
that's always a big shocker, I think, to the parents who come to my classes, because I expect you to sing.
Yeah.
I expect you to sing. I expect you to dance. I expect you to do all those things. And a lot of people, they have like, you know, everybody's got their own little hang-ups about how their voice sounds or whatever. So I always say this is a safe space.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you think you sound terrible. I want you to sing louder. Because a lot of children, children, they're naturally musical. And if the parents are not musical, if they don't continue it, then the children lose that. And because it's a skill that has to be, it's a muscle that has to be flexed, right?
Yes.
We have to keep going. And a lot of parents, I had this one parent who came into my class, and she wouldn't do anything. She was the Russian lady, and she'd sit down in my class, and her daughter would be sitting in her lap, and her daughter would be going all around and doing stuff, but she would not sing, she would not move, she would sit there. She always looked kind of angry. And I knew there was a story there.
Yeah.
So eventually, after I got to know her for a little while, she signed up every semester, even though she never looked like she was having fun. And
You're like, really? All right.
Yeah.
and I finally asked her, I said, what's going on? I see you don't like to sing in class, you don't like to dance. And she's like, well, I'm Russian. And, when I was 5 years old, they said, you must pick a career. And she said, I was 5, so I didn't know what to pick. So my parents picked the balalaika for me. And that was my job. I had to practice every single day. I played in the orchestra. I became proficient at playing the balalaika. And as soon as she left Russia, she never played the instrument again. And so she came into my class, and of course, I have a young child. I must put them in music.
Yeah.
Because of her.
Where's the balalaika?
Because deep down, you know how important music
Yes.
is.
But after by about the second year, she started dancing and singing, and she started having fun. And then, right, like middle of the second year, she came to me, and she started crying during the lullaby. So I was like, what's going on? And she said, I have to tell you, I have never touched the balalaika since I left Russia. But she said, I have learned in your classes that music is joy. She said, I never learned that before. And she was crying. And she says, I just asked my mom to send me my balalaika so she could start making music again. Because she learned through our classes that music is joyful. And that's one of my kind of pet peeves about when parents come to me and they say, oh, we're doing this class because music makes you better at math and music makes you good at this. And it does. And that's a happy little offshoot of what music does for you. But the sad thing is that we don't value music as music. We should want to do music because music does what Jackie said. Yeah. It makes you feel better, but also it is a huge part of our culture. Yeah. We do a lot of multicultural stuff in our classes, and every time we do a song, like I remember we did a song from Russia, the Little Birch Tree, and I sang it in Russian. I had to get someone to help me with the pronunciation. Cool. But the grandma, her name's Zoya, and she's in my class. She was so happy that I sang this song because she's I have such a huge connection with this song because my mom sang me this song. Oh my God. So it's how we pass down our culture. It's such an intrinsic part of who we are. And anthropologists now actually study with ethnomusicologists because they say that there's only two things that are absolutely true about people. And that is we all have a form of communication and we all have music. Every culture has music. They may not have names for numbers. They may not have, there's lots of things they don't have, but they always have music. So music is part of our soul, and it's something that we need to do, and we have been doing since the dawn of time. And there is no culture that they've ever found that doesn't have some form of music. So that's pretty powerful. Yeah. And we need to value it and and put it in the schools and make sure our children are
was going to say my kids' school in this district, they've been, and I'm sad, I think they might be taking it away, but we're working to hopefully not. But they do, each grade they do a musical, and I just edited again. Why am I gonna cry? I'm not gonna cry.
No, you have to now.
I've
already. No, it is, and I love music. Actually, during the pandemic, I was very down as well, and we, my husband bought me like a really fancy karaoke set. So my kids went back then, they were very little. We've been singing as a family since then. And it definitely, anytime I feel sad, I'm like, who wants to sing with me? But anyways, the school, every year they do a musical, and they had asked me, because I edit video, they were like, can you edit something together? And just watching these kids, grow, and like it's their only time really. They do a little bit of like arts, but it's so low of what they do. So at the end of this video I wrote, thank you to like, you know, our principal and everyone who's supported this, because like you're giving these kids something that like they're probably not going to remember a lot of things that happened in their elementary, but they're going to remember each one of those musicals that they did. Yeah. They worked with the kids and how they felt, and you know, maybe they weren't the lead, but but they had the chorus moments, and they had the I did direct a couple as well, and so
yes, you did.
Just I love everything you say, and I just like I want to take your classes like an adult.
You should just come. I know. Maybe you come. That's how
because it does make you feel better, and a lot of us are super stressed right now in life.
Yes, and we're stuck on screens. We all are. We're all, well, you know, we don't have that enough human to human connection. And the other cool part about when I did the training was that I learned like it's not just music, yes, but recorded music. It's not just that. Right. It's actually making the music together with our community, with our bodies, which I had never connected. So like I'm thinking I don't play any instruments, and then, you know, they really break it down to like, no, music. And if you think about it, around the campfire or you know, even around like my Italian, you know, family, we were listening to music, but we were also just like,
yeah,
you know, and you can make music with anything.
And you know, especially your generation, because you're younger than me, our generation, we didn't have like recorded music that we could have with us
at all times.
So I think that we made music all the time. Like that was a normal thing. But I think we've started getting less and less like that. We're more listening to music. And the sad thing is, with that comes judgment. Like we start judging how we sing, we start judging our own voice, as opposed to just, you know, we all are musical, we all can sing, which is kind of what my classes are about. And I've had parents who get sad. They get sad when their kids age out. And I had one parent who actually brought her friend's child to class.
Oh my God, I love it.
Because her children aged out of my class, so she wanted to bring her friends. She asked her friend, "Can I take your child to music class?"
So cute.
Because she missed it so much. Yeah. But it's you know, there's a lot of neurology involved too. Like I think it gets so into our nervous system, and you know, there's a lot of the studies that they've done with patients where everything is gone, but they recognize songs. And I have a really great story about that. I had a best friend in high school who's still my best friend, Sheila. Sheila Brady.
Sheila with the trailer by the beach.
And her papa, her grandfather, we call him Papa, every time he saw me, he would say, "Oh, Moira, sing Danny Boy for me."
Oh, he was Irish too?
He was Irish, yes, and he was from Ireland. And every time I would sing it, he would cry.
And that's
every time.
This is the Danny Boy.
Yes, oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling.
Yes.
And he would just cry every time. And he was older. It was her grandfather. And when he was getting on in his years, he started forgetting things. And, you know, his mind was kind of wandering. But every time I saw him, like, even though he didn't always recognize people, I would just start singing Danny Boy, and he would instantly go, "Oh, Moira, I love it when you sing Danny Boy to me." He gets so, and he'd start to cry. But it's like he just, that part of his being, no matter what he forgot, he always remembered that. Like, that song was special to him. And it was part of his being, and I think that's the power of music.
Oh my gosh!
You know, you can lose everything and still remember, you know, these people who have Alzheimer's or other things, and they put on some music and they can get up and dance. And remember
they use
steps.
it to help them. I think to help bring back some of their memory.
Even my husband's grandma, his grandma. I've known them because I've been with my husband since we were like 19 and 20, and I'm more than that now, age-wise. But we went and visited his grandma, and she has, I can't remember what it is, it's the same thing that Bruce Willis has. It's the brain is working, dementia. But the body, I think it's the body is like shutting down. So she's like kind of bedridden, and her daughter takes care of her, and she doesn't really talk. She kind of is like in a state of like, like this the whole time, like kind of something with the muscles. And it was hard, but we were there, and her daughter put on this like compilation of like, I don't know if it was one of those music singing shows, and it was all the best ones, and when it was a song she liked, she would stop and she would like sing. And I had to run to the kitchen because I was like, oh, this is really intense, but it was like amazing because it was like the first time we would see, because otherwise she couldn't really talk or speak.
Yeah.
It's just the power.
It is. And and like one of my friends had a stutter, or he has one, but he had a stutter, and certain art forms helped him not stutter. So improvisation randomly, because it's all improv, is just, you're not thinking too much before you're doing it. You're
trained to grab that quickly.
And singing. Like, see, he doesn't have a stutter when he sings.
Course,
and it's like, that's so cool. I mean, I just, and then the way that I kind of got into it was like the fun part. Like that was almost my in, because I was just like having so much fun. Yeah. And then the training and everything has helped me learn kind of more of the science and the reasoning behind it. But I was the hype mom in class, because I was so happy to be out of the house and like listening to music. And I say this, but in one video that my husband took of Music Together, he panned over and you see, the teacher and the kids, the little babies with their shakers and all that stuff. And then it's me standing up, the only one standing, and just going like, it was like bitty bitty bum 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 bum, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I was having a ball, way more fun than
You're my favorite kind of parent.
Yeah. One of my favorite like times of the week is just that. And I did it all the way till I was pregnant, so little Aria heard all the music, and then I went with her, and and then she was like, have you ever thought about maybe teaching this? And I was like, no, and then
it really is the best job.
It's so fun. And
some people bring briefcases, we bring hula hoops.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh, you at one point you got to go through Moira's museum, which is like her storage facility.
Yeah,
and
I love
props.
Yes, please. Like, I love props. My whole garage is full of props. I'm not joking.
Yes, she's
not music, but like
craft,
I actually do have some music.
Crafter music, literally like
theater.
Made a balloon arc randomly. Like she's like, you guys are similar.
Once you learn, it's.
Yeah, and then I just want to like go through really quickly, because I made this for Sing Sign Play, social media, which if you want to give her a follow, you totally should. It's Miss MS Moira, Moira SSP. So like Sing Sign Play. So at Miss Moira SSP, that's where you can find all of her information there. But one thing I thought was cool when I was kind of doing research for it, and of course in the Music Together training I learned, but like why is like baby and toddler music class so good for us? Speech development, singing, humming, and rhythmic movement, improve breath control, lip and tongue coordination, all of which are needed for clear speech. It helps them distinguish subtle differences in spoken sounds, which aids in phonetic development. So like that's cool. It's literally helping teach them to speak.
What's the age? Where do they age out?
Well, I have the mixed ages ends at 5, but then I have a rhythm kids class, which is we learn how to play djembe.
Ooh.
And we learn rhythms from different cultures.
Oh my gosh.
So one semester we might do African drumming rhythms. Another semester, it's from all over the world.
Older.
And we use animal chants to learn the patterns. So it's really cool. So
fun.
Elephants stampeding, go run away. Elephants stampeding, run away. So
I want my son to take it.
They're authentic patterns, and we do them to chant, so they're really accessible for kids.
Yeah.
And then I also teach private lessons. So I have some kids who have been with me for 20 years. They started as babies. I have one parent who has been in my Music Together classes and signing classes for 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
She has an
That's so
18-year-old
cool.
son, and she's had 5 kids, and every single one of them, as soon as one of them starts to age out, she has another one. So Kim, you better get busy because
that's actually why
Blue's
she is
getting
kids.
up there.
I'm done.
And then, okay, builds coordination and motor skills, beating, banging a drum, clapping, strengthens fine motor skills for articulation. It's like music is a language gym for babies, trains their ears, brains, bodies, and mouths simultaneously. Cool.
That's amazing.
Social interaction, obviously, interactive, singing with parents, clapping along, dancing, encourages turn taking, and listening skills, critical for conversation. Babies learn the back and forth rhythm of communication, which mirrors how conversations work, which is awesome. Emotional regulation, which we kind of talked about. It can lower heart rate, blood pressure, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, help with tantrums. Fast, upbeat music can stimulate alertness, increase energy, and activate the mind and body exercise, which is why I think that that flow of the class is so important, and you remind me of that a lot. The way that the class is built, it's for a reason. It's you know,
we have highs, and then we dip, and then we go a little bit higher, and then we dip again, and then we have the ending, which is kind of the pinnacle, and then we bring it down with a lullaby. So it's very much well scientifically researched on how to do it without overstimulating the kids, because a lot of times you go to something where there's like a million props and everybody's crazy, and the kids are like crying by the end. There's not enough downtime in it. And all those things are so great, and that's amazing. There's a lot of amazing research on how great music is and why you should do it. But like I said before, we should do music because music is important, right?
Yeah.
Not just because it does all those things for you.
Right.
Those are the great advantages to music.
Yes. Yes.
But music is important to our culture, and we need to do it for music's sake.
For for fun.
And it's not valued enough. You know, even in high school, you know, I worked a lot with the Saugus High School Marching Band and their music department, and you know, those kids get made fun of, and we go to the football games, and nobody's paying attention to these kids who've worked really hard to make this show, and it's sad to see.
Yeah,
you know,
I will
we
be
need
the
to value
hype
it
person
more.
for them because I love the marching
And
band.
you
I
know,
did too. I always loved
if
the
you
drum.
look at for colleges, I have a friend who was a recruiter for Stanford. And she said that is an A activity. If we see band on their resume, we go, this is one we want to interview. Because if you become proficient in an instrument, you know that this kid had to practice on their own.
It's like what you said.
They have discipline.
It's like what you said.
Yeah.
Because I felt that way, like, when I was playing my violin, I had to practice. It did not come...
You can't just play it.
Yeah.
Even people who are talented at it, you have to practice to be good at it.
Yeah.
So it looks really great on college resumes, but we don't, like, we try to funnel all the music to other things. And the sad part is kids who do art and kids who do music and dance and all these great, they do better at all the academic things, but the money doesn't go to that.
Right.
Everybody's so worried about testing, and
I know.
they want to put all the money towards all the things that make you do better on tests, but honestly, this makes you do better on tests.
I hope. I was listening to an interview with the Saugus High School director, which they're doing.
Evan Block?
It's a lady. From theater.
For the theater. Oh, yeah, they have a great theater department.
But she was talking about that, like, when kids feel connected, they want to come to school. And so they have a huge cast. You know, they have a lot of kids who want to be a part of that. And I felt that way. I had a bit of a rough school, too, because I was like, I don't really want to do anything I don't want to do. But when it was, like, music, my orchestra, theater, any of that. And I love sports, too, but it's the balance. I'm hoping that the pendulum will swing, where it's like we're testing, and it's not working.
I think it's already swinging.
Yeah.
I think it's already swinging. We're moving more towards education that's more active and less of the sitting in the desk, you know.
Yes.
Which I think is important.
I would have
because
done
that's
so
how
much
kids
better.
learn, you know.
And what's cool is, like, you can't chat GPT music. Like you can the written
but
notes,
it's terrible.
but it's terrible. No, I mean you can make music
It's
from
boring.
it. You can make music from it, but I mean you can't reap the benefits of reading a ChatGPT answer and getting the feeling
like singing or humming.
that you
humming.
get singing together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So some other things you can, but that's something that like
it's a community thing.
yes,
it's
you
something
need
that you do in a
actually
community.
need human interaction.
And that stops, like I've seen this so much in high school too, because that stops. There's a lot more acceptance of all different types of people in band.
Oh,
Like
yes.
we had a little boy who, he had a lot of learning disabilities, but he was accepted. Like,
Yeah.
and they didn't always give him a drum that made sound, but he was banging away on whatever they gave him and having the best time.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
So, and they accept, because if you can contribute to the group, then you're accepted, and it doesn't have anything to do with how you look or how you dress or all these other things that are so important to high school kids. It doesn't matter in band. Can you play your instrument?
Yeah.
If you can play your instrument and be part of our group, then you're good. You're in. So that's another really powerful thing about music. It's based on, your contribution as opposed to what you look like. Or,
Yeah.
I love this episode.
Absolutely. I know.
Thank you for having me on. This is
Oh my gosh, no,
This is the
thank
first
you.
podcast I've ever done.
Really?
Yes.
I knew you'd be good. I mean, we could talk all day. I think except like some takeaways are you don't have to be Celine Dion to be able to sing and sing to your children. That's like the most beautiful sound,
And
right? to them.
everyone is accepted.
Everyone's
Everyone
accepted.
can make music in my classes. I love all parents. I have some parents who, they can't keep a rhythm. They can't sing a pitch, but I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. And your children are not going to be ruined by the fact that you can't stay in pitch or you can't. And a lot of parents reach what I call basic music competency.
Yeah.
In my classes. Like they come into my
amazing.
classes and they can't sing in tune, they can't sing in rhythm, but they're in my classes for a couple years and they actually reach it with their kids.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty
so
amazing.
Because if they weren't exposed to it, they didn't have it, then they
and
weren't able
someone
to.
told them early on, just mouth the words. Don't sing.
Yeah.
Don't sing or don't play. Just mouth the words. And so they have that little voice in the back of their head saying, "Oh, I can't sing. I can't do this. I'm terrible at this." And that's the sad. That's the sad.
I fight against that a lot because I had someone say that to me.
There is no judgment in these classes.
No.
And I make sure I tell parents that all the time. We don't judge you by your voice. We judge you by your participation.
Yes.
I want you to participate or non-participation. Some of them don't feel like participating, and I try to
just be
coax
there.
them out of there. But they're there and they're with their child.
They're like kind of some of the kids. That's another thing. Teaching from you and music together. Your kid might not always be doing the music.
No.
In fact, a lot of the
Not
times,
with toddlers.
no, they're not. They're walking around the room. They're maybe beating something, but they're not.
That's the one thing that my parents love, and that's the one thing that I tell people come to me. What's the most important thing for teaching young children? And I say absolutely flexibility.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll have this amazing lesson plan. You're like, oh, this is the best lesson plan I've ever written, and the kids just aren't learning it that way, and you just gotta do what they're doing. You gotta follow their lead, and children learn in different ways, and I always tell parents, don't be I'm good with your child tippy-toeing around the circle instead of tapping the sticks, because they're learning the rhythm their way.
That's what was cool. It's a child-proof room. They're safe. But I didn't realize that children can retain so much when they're not directly looking at you. That they could be doing other things and learning it. And I told our music together teacher at first, I'm like, it's just so weird because she doesn't do all of the motions or sing all the songs here. But then when we go home, she does it. And Miss Tracy was like, if I had $1 for how many times I heard that, I'd be rich. So
I got so many videos of kids doing what I did in class,
doing it at home, so
that
they
maybe
are,
didn't do anything in class.
Right, so they are retaining it, they are doing it, and if you listen to the music at home...
Yeah, because we send them home with all of the music, so the parents get familiar with the music, the kids get familiar with the music, and we send them home with lots of, I send them emails and all kinds of things to help them continue at home, because really, I'm just there for 45 minutes, usually an hour because I never keep track of time. But they have their child all week. So the parent is the most important teacher. And that's my, I'm not an entertainer. I tell people, when they clap for me, I'm like, no, don't clap. We're here to learn music together. I am not an entertainer. I am a facilitator. I'm just facilitating the learning process, and I'm helping you learn how to do this at home. Yeah, I always tell people my biggest goal in life is to teach myself out of a job. I would love it if we didn't need someone like me, if we all just made music at home. But we don't. We don't. So that's why we need people like me to kind of help that along.
Yeah.
And Jackie now.
And it's good bonding time. It's great. And the music and music together is very good. It's really, really rich. And I think that's something too, if you're a parent and you're kind of tired of the whole like, wheels on the bus go round. They're really...
I don't like that music.
Right. Kids music
its place.
It has its place, but it can be a little annoying. And this gives a whole breadth of songs and like you said, different tonalities and different cultures, and so it's really pleasant to the ear. I like listening to it in the car.
And the kids want to hear it over and over again. And I had one parent tell me, I put that song on my playlist at the gym.
Hell yeah. There are some that are legit bangers. Like my husband and I were like, they should make a concert and we would go.
And it's all live musicians, all real instruments.
Yeah.
There's no drum tracks. There's no synthesizers.
And you can tell.
Just a band playing music. So it's good stuff. It's stuff, and that's what their purpose is. We want music that parents can also listen to because the kids want to hear it. And it's we can't hear Wheels on the Bus over and over again.
No, we can't. But we
My
can hear.
ears start bleeding.
I can hear little blue car, little blue car. I swear, if I were at a concert, I'd be like, play Little Blue Car, encore. But yeah, well, Miss Moira, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yes. So
I'll be in your
us.
class. I'm going to dress up as a toddler.
We're all going to be in class together partying. Miss Moira, sing, sign, play, private lessons as well. So,
Very cool.
And we'll put stuff in the show notes of kind of how you can follow along and join the fun.
Awesome.
And
And I love the bat story, by the way.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
I was laughing when you texted me. I'm like, do not touch that bat.
Oh yeah, I know. I think you could see I was a little tempted because I'm like, he's so cute.
Don't touch him.
Fuck away from that. I mean, God, rabid bats are a thing. Okay, so
That's
beware.
the lesson.
That's the only.
Exactly.
Don't touch the bat.
Don't sing. You can sing to it from far away. All right. Thanks, Miss Moira.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
New episodes drop every other Sunday, so be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. If you're loving the show, leave us a review. It helps more than you know. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts and watch full video episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Huge shout out to SCV Studio. All the love to our friends and family, and especially our kids. This truly wouldn't be possible without you. Okay, deep breaths, go be amazing, or just fine. And keep bearing it all. We'll see you next time on the Full Mom Tea.
Welcome to the Full Mom Tea.